Hey now, what is up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am here to talk about and review Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. This film came out in 1987. It was written, produced, and directed by John Hughes. And the plot is we meet Neil Page, who is a businessman, successful in marketing, but all he really cares about is getting home for his family for the holidays. But of course, everything goes wrong. He's trying to catch his flight. The flight gets delayed. He can't catch a cab. Nothing goes right for this guy. Until he meets John Candy, who plays Del Griffith. And John Candy, he's a likable guy. He's a fun, loving guy. But to Steve Martin, who's having like the worst day possible, you could see how he might come off a little annoying, but the two have to almost stick together so that Steve Martin can get home. Now, what I think of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is, and this is interesting because this is my very first time watching this movie. I know, some people probably grew up on this movie. Others consider it a classic. It's just one of those films that, I don't know, I never got around to, but it's been requested. Enough people talk great things about it. And I will say, I loved this movie. I did. I loved it for so many reasons. John Hughes, it's obvious how great of a filmmaker he is, but man, seeing just what he brought to the writing, seeing what he created with these characters and just the story, it's perfect. Steve Martin obviously is a comedic genius. He's a legend. There's so much good things to say about Steve Martin, but I just love how he plays this guy straight. He's normal. He's a guy that everybody can relate to, but man, does he go through hell. And that's what I love about this, is that the situations that Steve Martin is going through, being put through, they're relatable in a lot of ways. Obviously, it's the next level, and there's so many times where you feel for this guy and he's about to snap and go crazy. There's even a couple moments where he just breaks down and starts laughing because this is all absurd. How can so many bad things happen to just one guy? But that's where he meets John Candy, who I love the way that they meet. When Steve Martin's trying to catch a cab, John Candy just swoops in there and steals his cab. Then they wind up on the flight together, sitting next to each other. How convenient! And John Candy is just hilarious. He is. You just miss this guy in movies when you see that warmness, when you see just so many things that make him likable. I'm not going to call anybody out, but nowadays when you see certain comedians or certain actors be funny or try to be funny in movies, they just don't. It's forced. It's forced, and they're too over the top. They're too goofy and too just, there's no relatability there. There's no likability there. But John Candy, he's a normal guy. He is. He's constantly making me laugh, but he's not, again, too much, too overbearing. I really like just the way he is. Like the one scene where Steve Martin, when they're in the hotel, and Steve Martin just kind of flips out on him. He has enough, and he's telling him every bad thing, every bad quality that he has. And John Candy just takes it. He just absorbs it in and says, go on, you can attack me if you want, but I like myself. I like how I am. My wife likes how I am. And that's when you know what type of guy this is, and that he is just trying to help, willing to help. I mean, I know he doesn't always pay for things, but still, it's the little things that count. They're in the hotel, they get robbed. So I'm telling you, things go bad, and they have to take a train, or they have to rent a car, and they have to do this and that. It would drive you crazy. In fact, the one scene where Steve Martin finally has had enough, and he's going to talk to the woman behind the desk, and he just flips out. I mean, this movie, up until this point, I would say this movie is like a PG movie. There's really nothing raunchy and nothing too much going on here. But it's the one scene where Steve Martin just flips his shit and says fuck probably 27 times. It's hilarious. It's not even out of left field, because once again, you see what this guy has gone through. You see just, it's been bottled up. He finally just found somebody to unleash on, this poor woman who has this smile on her face, and it just made it that much more funny. I love that you could have edited it down and maybe made it a PG movie, but John Hughes was like, no, you need this moment. You need him to curse that much. You need to show how angry he is at that point. I love it. Not only that, watching this movie, there was almost like a who's who as far as like little characters or little cameos going on. You have Kevin Bacon, who plays the guy that Steve Martin almost races for one of the cabs. Larry Hankin is guy behind the counter at one of the hotels. Dylan Baker, his character, wow. A little creepy, a little messed up, but still just had me laughing hard. Michael McKean is a trooper on the highway who pulls them over because they were speeding. But when you see the car that was set on fire and just barely drivable, and I couldn't believe that one of Steve Martin's kids in the film is played by Matthew Lawrence. Random, I know that I even recognized him, but I had to double check. I had to look it up, and I said, holy crap. John Candy especially, just this character, as fun-loving as he is, as just funny, like, as much as he made me laugh, the scene at the end where you really get his story and you really see what he's about, and you really see just why he's helping Steve Martin so much. I mean, I don't know if I want to spoil it, but just it's such a quick moment that the two of them have. It's enough to put the heart into this film. It's enough to really care about him and both of these characters. And it really puts you in that family mood, that Thanksgiving mood. It's the perfect Thanksgiving movie. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you too have seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, if you enjoy it as much as I do, because I now love this movie. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and happy Thanksgiving!